Why do we treat camera brands like football teams? Why is there such tribalism between Nikon, Canon, Sony, Fuji, Pentax and all the other camera manufacturers out there? Surely, by restricting ourselves to one brand, we're restricting ourselves creatively. Let's get into it. Now, you will be aware that photography forums, social media groups, YouTube comments are full of "why did you pick the Canon over this Nikon? Surely this Sony has more megapixels than that Canon." There are many ways that people try to justify the purchase of a brand, and usually it's by offsetting it against a competing brand. And that's a strange way to think. It's a justification of your purchase rather than a justification of your creative choices. Brand loyalty is not a badge of honor. It's a creative straitjacket. It means that you are defining your photography by a particular multi-billion-pound camera company. And that's a strange way to be. Now, the simple fact is that camera companies want you to be loyal. They want to lock you in. There are entire websites out there for rumours about upcoming cameras, Nikon rumours, Fuji rumours, Canon rumours, and they are, to say a better word, infested with people speculating on the tiniest details of what camera's coming up. And that is exactly what the camera brands want. They want to drive this dedication to their particular brand. They want to keep you on the hook, make you desire their products. This is nothing new. This is something that Apple have been doing for decades. You buy an Apple phone, they tie you into the Apple ecosphere. You buy AirPods because they work seamlessly with your iPhone. You buy a Mac because it works seamlessly with your iPhone. This is what brand loyalty does. It ties you into an ecosystem. There are cases where a particular camera brand may not be giving you everything that you particularly want. And I'm going to explain my own personal situation with this. Many of you will know that about 2 years ago, I moved from Fuji to Sony. I had been with Fuji for about 13, 14 years or so, but I just felt that there was some problems with Fuji that I couldn't overcome. Mainly the autofocus, the image quality, and also the build quality of later Fujis. So I moved over to Fuji. It was a huge decision. I had to buy new glass. I had to buy basically an entire new system. And I spent months researching which camera would be best for me. And it was close. I nearly went for the Nikon Z8 rather than the Sony Alpha 7R5. And I spent a lot of time comparing the two before deciding that Sony was best for me. And if you've watched recent videos, you'll also remember that about 2 months ago, I bought another Fuji. Now, why would I do that? This is the Fuji in question. It's an X-E3. And the simple reason I bought this is because it fills a gap that the Sony doesn't fulfill for me. It's a fun little camera that I can take out whenever I want. Little single prime 23mm on it. Treat it as a to-go camera whenever I go out just to take nice images. It's not my work camera. The point here is that these are two very different brands that give me two very different experiences with the camera. When I go out with my Sony, particularly to shoot video, I know that I'm going to lock autofocus all the time. I know that I'm going to get a very clinical looking 61 megapixel RAW that I can manipulate immensely to get the image that I want to look at. With the Fuji, I know I can go out and get this film style look, particularly from the old X-Trans 3 sensor. I know I can get these lovely muted, subtle colours. And more importantly, I know I can have fun with this camera. The Sony is a thinking person's camera. The Fuji is a fun camera. And there you have two completely separate brands fulfilling two different roles. I have no loyalty to the Sony and I have no loyalty to the Fuji, but both are fulfilling requirements that I have in my photography. Now, as I said, camera companies try to lock you into their ecospheres by bringing out products every year or two. Now, these products are generally just a minor step upgrade from the previous one, but by generating rumours and hype around these particular products and using YouTubers to fuel that hype, if you like, particularly pre-production and early release videos through certain YouTube channels. They create this absolute desire to be locked into that particular brand. The fact is that you should be buying gear because it fulfills a need that you have and not a need that your camera company thinks you have. If you feel that you want a more muted film style look, go and buy yourself a nice Fuji. If you're looking for that sort of clinical, really sharp image, go and get yourself a Nikon or Sony system, but don't buy them because of the marketing hype, because a YouTuber tells you that's the best brand and that's the best camera they've ever used. The best camera I ever used was probably my Nikon D3, and that I was using very early days of YouTube, and I certainly wasn't on YouTube at the time. It was a tool that I just found absolutely fantastic, and it's as simple as that. The reality is, you should be focusing on what you output and not what a brand is telling you you need. It should be the image quality that you're seeing on screen in print that is the defining factor in your photography, not the badge that sits on top of the camera. A classic example of this ecosphere they lock you into are the Fuji X100 series cameras. The Fuji X100 is sold out constantly for over a year now because I feel that Fuji deliberately underproduced the number of cameras required compared to the demand, so that they create this massive hype around it. And that's locking people into a Fuji system because of this hype and this desirability, because Instagrammers are using it in beautiful locations, and not because it's being used as a really, really good tool. It's a fantastic camera, but all the hype you see around it is about it being used rather than the output it gives. So as I've said, it's all about the output and not the badge. It's all about what you produce and you create and not the badge that sits on top of your camera. So I want to challenge you, have a look in your camera bag right now. Have a look at all the gear you've got. Does it all fit into one brand? And if it does, why does it? Ask yourself the question, did I buy this particular lens just because it's a Sony lens and it fits on my Sony camera? Or could I have bought a Sigma lens or a RTT Artisan's lens, a cheaper lens, and used that? Ask yourself, am I using this particular camera for absolutely everything, even my fun shots, going out with friends, going to parties? Am I using this camera? Could I have used a smaller, different brand camera? Ask yourself this question. Is the image that I am creating more important than the brand of camera that I'm taking it on? If the answer is yes, then you don't have brand loyalty. And that's a very good thing. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts on brand loyalty. Is it something that you're into? Will you stick with a camera system through thick or thin? Or will you buy alternatives to that system that fulfill needs that that system can't provide for you? Let me know those down below. If you've enjoyed this video, a like would be fantastic. A subscription would be even better. And I really look forward to seeing you in the next one.